It kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go
No,
lefty.
we're talking about the players, the tournament champions into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town & Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody.
Back it up.
It's great to be here today. Get a grip.
Pizza Wings!
Pizza Wings is back. Shout out to Deke. Honor score last night. Great job. I don't expect anything less from you.
Austin, what's going on this week? How are you?
Not injured.
Not injured. He's back.
Yeah, we're back.
He's off the IR. So is Anthony.
Right now we are.
For a minute.
Don't worry. I got the
The ice.
the menthol pain relieving gel.
Hey, no free shout outs.
I didn't say what brand it was.
All right.
I didn't say what brand it was, and I got it covered. So I got that. I've been using that, and then I'm gonna wrap the wrist up. And we made some grip changes. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But I should be good to go tonight. I think I'm throwing it pretty sweet.
What's going on, Chloe? Finding. I am not gonna read that whole thing. Deke, what's up? James, Pizza Wings. How is everybody doing tonight? On tonight's episode, we are going to get into Anthony's ridiculous goings on this week. It has been a wild week in the grip.
In the grip world.
The what did I say? The grip gaggles. The grip gaggles. That's what I'm going to call it.
there?
Yep. So get a grip. That's what we're talking about tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the LBC Championships. And then we are going to take a listener question that we got an email this week. So we'll go over that. And then you can comment to us during the show like you guys are. We'll chat with you guys. As always, we'll chat with you guys, take questions, whatever you guys want to do. And don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Just like our listener that we're going to take a question from, you can always email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out that Etsy shop where you can
We need new merch.
say that every week.
We need new merch. I don't know. Break your game 4. Make we should make jokes on bowling balls. Like virtual energy blackout energy.
Cool.
Make it like pink or something.
Wow.
Kyle's not about that.
I'm not.
Fireball, ball fire. Just like 2 things backwards.
Good one.
I think that'd be hilarious.
It's hilarious. You
Perfect
really got me.
mindset. Perfect. Exotic gem exotic. Anyways,
It's hilarious. You really got me going on that
sorry guys. I just thought that was funny. Apparently it's not.
one. Well, there you go, Pizza Wings. You got it. Blacked out. Virtually blacked out. Okay. Well, guys, how was your week this week?
Who you starting with? Austin, you go first.
Yeah, you go first, Austin. You're back. You're off the IR.
Yeah. Still hurt technically, but
Well, which is it?
very doable. Well, on the field, MLB, NFL, if they're medically cleared, it doesn't mean they don't hurt.
All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, it was a good week. To be honest, too busy with work to pay attention to the bowling world.
I heard we got a big score though. Big score alert from Austin Van Buren.
I did. I heard.
Yeah.
Are stand by. Are you freaking doing it right now? Are you doing
No.
the
10 points, my
Pokeball
friend.
right now?
No, I freaking had to. Jody Becker signed up for a tournament, so I opened my phone and I was on it. So sorry, he wants to
Freaking
bowl one pin Sunday.
Pokemon. All right, back to Austin. Austin, go ahead.
Yeah, it was. I scored far better than I bowled that game. I tripped.
I feel like that's how a lot of honor score goes. Honor scores
We'll
go.
put it to you this way. The first 3 frames were trip 10, trip 710, through the face, trip the fence on the right.
Who'd you play?
Uh,
They were happy.
we were bowling. Actually,
I don't care who
bowling
you-
Billy Carl.
They were happy that you did all that.
Yeah.
That's great. That was awesome.
They
Good for you.
actually, the whole pair bowled very well. We had a lot of high rev bowlers, so the middle of the lane really set up for a majority of the bowlers.
Hmm.
The players that played a little straighter struggled towards the end of the night, but scores were overall good on our pair.
That's good. Nice game. Congratulations.
Congratulations on tripping the fence.
Absolutely.
Hey, finding, yes, we do have adult child tournaments. As a matter of fact, there's one coming up at Boulevard. I literally just read the flyer tonight
Yes.
supporting the
Are you gonna bowl Zach?
SUNY. I was just thinking about it on
That'd be a lot of
November
fun.
5th, supporting
Little Mike asked
the
me to bowl.
SUNY college team.
But- I'm
Um,
not bowling. Don't bowl his dad.
wait, is that what it said? SUNY
Yeah, Schenectady.
Schenectady team. Oh, I thought that they're SUNY team now.
Yeah, Mikey asked me. He was like, "Hey man, you want to bowl?" I was like, Mike, I'd love to, but your dad probably likes to bowl, and I'm kind of a little bit busy." And he was like, "You think so?" I said, "I'm not even good enough to bowl to you." So
He would definitely outshine you, dude.
right. What's that? I said that, and then so yeah, we have adult tournaments. We're actually having one this weekend, the fall semi-classic. It's anyways, adult child tournaments. Yes,
Every tournament Anthony bowls in is an adult child tournament.
yes, it is because I'm the child. As for adult tournaments, we run one almost every month. I've got a fall semi-classic, so this one's on a PBA pattern, Amuleto Monticelli. Anita, it's great to see you back. And Amuleto Monticelli, 40 feet, 5-1, so it's like a challenge shot, but we're going to re-rate all the players to a challenge average. And we're gonna do handicap off the 215. First place is 1,000 guaranteed.
Do I
So-
get to rewrite my average off of this year's handicap or this year's average?
You bowled scratch. You were like right at the thing.
Not fair.
Deke, you have the golf Sunday, Saturday at 1:00. If you're free, we got a squad at 1:00 on Saturday. But anyways, we do that too. And then what's this? October, November, we'll have the turkey shoot. And is it October?
This is October right now. Yes, today is October 5th.
Wow, we're in October.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
November, we're gonna do turkey shoot. And then December, we're going to do our second annual Swiss Trio. So if you're around for that, that was a blast last year.
Let me just say this. Now that you're married, it's just going to fly by. It's like time's just going to go by.
What does that mean? Why would it go fast?
You're married now, then you're going to have kids. It's just going to be gone. Gone.
But, yeah, so we have a bunch of tournaments. Then I do a Baker's Doubles. That'll be in January. We had 250 teams last year. Prize fund was $16,000 last year. So first place was $2,000 for the winning team, and I think it was $30, $25 to get in per player. So that's fairly cheap, and it was a great tournament.
Baker's is one of the most popular tournaments that we have in the area, not just here.
Yeah.
In the area, we have one up in Glens Falls. There's one on Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe you guys have heard about it.
What?
Yeah, there's Super Bowl Sunday, Baker's Doubles. Maybe you heard about it. I don't know.
3-time champion.
I don't know anyone that's won that.
Second place right here.
And then, then there's the one here as well. But yes, the Baker's it's just overall fun. Like, I think that's what it comes down to, is that Baker's is just a super fun way to bowl. Anyway.
Yeah, but we have a good time with that. And then we do another event, and then we do our invitational. Then we do a scratch doubles, a memorial tournament for our guy who used to run the shop here, John.
Yep.
And then we actually were hosting the New York State Queens this year. So yeah, there's a ton of adult events to bowl here.
Tournament City.
We do a lot of events.
As it has become, I think, like tons of tournaments.
We do a lot of tournaments. We do a lot of stuff. So whatever we can to support the players, so that way they have something to do that's fun.
Not to mention Tournament Club.
Not to mention Tournament Club, which is another 5 events that we have.
When's our next event?
October 29th.
So we have a ton of stuff that we do here. But yeah, so that's kind of what we run here. What else? That was a question again. So Singapore qualifying, and I didn't watch any of that. I won't lie. I have no idea what's going on in Singapore.
I think I saw, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I saw a post from Matt Ogle is out there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw that he is out there. Anyway, I did bowl, speaking of the Fall Classic, Semi-Classic.
We did bowl last night.
Bowled last night.
And you bowled this weekend.
I did bowl this weekend at the Neva Masters.
Elaborate.
Then I shall. So Matt Fizzone, who's in the chat right now. What's up, Matt? We bowled the Neva Masters. We crossed together. Congratulations to Matt, who finished in 4th. Right.
It was a lefty shot.
I mean, yeah, the left was walled. I will say, but no, he bowled very well. His miss room was probably just under 9 boards. I'm messing with it. But no, he bowled very good. He made his spares. I didn't. I missed probably, almost a dozen spares at least. He can correct me because he was watching. I don't keep track like I should. And but yeah, I missed a bunch of spares that would have put me in the cut. Kyle is jealous because the left is always walled. That is correct, Matt. Thank you. Pizza wings, F and lefties. True. But yeah, so I started out with a couple of 180s, which when I was looking across the house, it looked like there were very few scores across the house. There were about 75 bowlers. I looked to my left. Brandon Boyer was bowling. And if anybody's familiar with Brandon, he's got a loft game, and he basically lands the ball on the arrows. Which
he does. I watched a video of him last night.
Yeah,
it hit the arrows.
I'm not exaggerating. I'm just saying he lands the ball on the arrows. So Matt was telling me before we went that this is a very high friction house. So I was kind of prepared for that information. So it was interesting because there was very little hole to the left. And there was a lot of hook when you threw it to the gutter, which is to be expected when you're on a 34-foot pattern. So the interesting thing to see is he's launching over all of that friction in the heads.
Yeah.
And he had way more room than anybody else because he's out of the gate shooting 250, 220.
Did you try to throw it that far? Well, you're using 14, so I figured you could get a little farther on the lane.
I should have grabbed an alley ball with a 12-pounder, and then I could have maybe, but no, I did not even try that. I have attempted loft, and my loft is behind the dots still. Like I don't have any kind of loft. He's also got a foot on me, I think, close to that anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, he started off very well. He made he made match play. But so he was able to clear that friction and give himself a lot more room. But those of us that didn't do that, and those of us that weren't on the left, I think had a much harder shot. And the shot was hard enough, as it was. It wasn't an impossible shot by any means. But I think between that shot and the really frictiony surface, it kind of made the pattern play really tricky. Which was also fun. So anyway, I shoot 180. So I'm like, I wonder if I could like do a little experiment here and bump in a bit left and try to do a little bank shot. And I go wash out. And I was like, well, it didn't hook right away. I was kind of expecting that maybe if I moved in, it would just immediately hook left. Because on a short pattern, that's usually what happens. So I'm like, oh, okay, so right, and get another washout. So I balled down because I'm like, maybe it's burning up, and got another washout. So that did not go well for the first game, or third game. So I ended up with a 130. So that experiment failed, and even after that, I shot a 239. I moved back right, caught a really good pair that gave me a lot of room, and I was still in it. Actually, I was still pretty close to the cut. 180, 230, 130, 230, almost 240, 190, 190. And at the last game, I was, I think, minus 60 something. The cut was around -4, -10 or whatever. And if I shot a decent game, I could have been in it, but this pair was really, really hard. I couldn't find a strike anywhere. I changed balls. I moved left, I moved right. And after 3 or 4 frames, I was done anyway because I couldn't find a strike. So, but I just that last pair was hard. I shot 140. But yeah, and then the cut went down to -23. I mean, if I even shot just a 230, I was in, or close to it. 230, 240. I was close to the cut. But
makes you feel better. I shot 140 on the house shot on Tuesday. So
yeah,
I still shot. I almost shot 600 too.
Well, yeah, that's not good.
I'm not picking on him, Deke. I'm just saying he should be able to throw it further down the lane with a pound less. It's
like what are my 14s? Are they 14 point?
They're probably closer to the high 13 than they are 14. So
but anyway, it was a good tournament. Like I wasn't disappointed with my physical bowling, except for the spare missing. If I had made my spares and still bowled those scores, I actually would have been pretty darn close to making match play, which was on the 2023 Masters pattern. So they stripped and re-oiled to the 47-foot pattern that we bowled on in Michigan. So I at least would have had an idea on how to bowl on that. However, the lane surface would have been completely different. So that would have been interesting. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen that, obviously. But hey, I made $65 in brackets.
Yeah, baby. That's awesome. That's always a win.
No, it wasn't.
It is, because you have to get in brackets out there. They put you in X amount of brackets, right, with your entry fee.
They do?
Yeah, that's why it's so much. They put you in side pots and brackets with that extra money automatically. They put you in like 5 brackets.
Oh, nice. I probably got I probably got refunds, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
But anyway, and then last night was the first round of the fall semi-classic, and
you're the leader.
So I decided to change something after Sunday, which again I wasn't too disappointed on how I bowled.
Last time I checked, you change something every week.
Shall we say it? Epiphany
of the week. Yeah,
Oh wait,
basically.
there was 20 refunds. You got 20 refunds, Matt? Wow.
You got 20 refunds.
Yikes. So
$100.
so basically, what I decided was I moved up on the approach. I don't know when, probably years ago. And what that did was really slow me down, and almost to the point where I'm dragging my arm swing back.
There you go. You had 20 refunds.
I didn't get 47 brackets. Oh, plus theirs was 47 brackets. Got it. Yes, that makes
You're
sense.
welcome. You should probably read the rules before you bowl.
I did actually. I didn't see anything about brackets. So anyway, I was dragging my ball back in my arm swing, which it just didn't feel natural. So last night I went back to what I remember as being more of how I bowled back when I was in college, and back when I was what I at least remember to be bowling well when I was quote unquote winning more or cashing more. And so that was when I was taking larger steps on the approach, pushing my ball straight out, which some guys say isn't how they do it now. But you know what? I'm tired of being pigeonholed into a game. Okay. I'm gonna bowl my game.
Okay, Dad.
No, but I was actually thinking
you're on the ride home. You're thinking, what can I have done differently?
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
What was I doing in 2004?
Yes. I want 2004 Kyle back.
And then all of a sudden, yesterday, he was taking big boy steps on the approach. I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm. You actually said to me, I don't see anything different.
Well, yeah.
2004 Austin just started bowling.
Yeah. I think you said to me, what did you say to me? He said, man, I tried to change this and I threw it so much better. And I said to you, man, you sound just like my dad. You change something, but it never looks any different. So
yeah,
whatever. If it works, it works. Just keep doing it, Kyle, because you bowled pretty good last night with a 197 the last game for 862. Scores aren't too high.
No, they played a little trickier than I expected, to be honest with you, with a 4.5 to 1, almost 5 to 1. I expected it to be a lot more free hook to the right, and there was a little more.
Show that pizza wings.
Got to wear shorts too. Exposed calves equal max power. I was wearing shorts last night, and I was wearing shorts on Sunday too, because the heat up here is summertime right now. So
Deke, I like that right there. If you're not comfortable, you'll never be great.
I 100% agree, Deke.
Yeah.
So I'm going back to just bowling my game. So anyway, yeah. So I was thinking about it because at the NEBA I was kind of looking around, and I'm looking at all the guys that are bowling well, and like Chris Forey, who won, right?
Yep. He's got a weird approach.
And
his
also,
legs like bend all weird, and they like and he gets them right in front of each other.
And I'm not even going to say that he's weird, but what? So
I'm not saying it's weird. I'm saying his legs bend, and he gets them to bend, and then he walks right in a straight line every time. He gets them to like bend around his body. It's wild.
And then I'm looking at Bruce Hall, right?
Bruce, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so Chris is got to be in his 50s, right?
No, I have no idea.
Late 40s or 50s. Bruce has got to be in his 60s.
Bruce is like my dad's age, maybe a little younger.
So, and I'm not throwing any shade here. What I'm saying is these guys bowl how they bowl, right? Nobody is telling them how to change their game, and they are still making the finals, is my point, right? So I'm thinking to myself, why am I going to change my game to fit a certain way when everyone should just bowl how they bowl as long as they're bowling well, right?
Isn't that what I say?
No, you don't say anything. You just say, change my pitch. I got to change this pitch. I got to do this. I got to do that.
We'll get into that.
So anyway, so that's what I was thinking about on my ride home.
Bruce is 65. Yeah, I thought he was about my dad's age.
So that's what I was thinking about, and that's why I wanted last night to try to go back to where I was standing before, and the point of taking the larger steps and pushing the ball straight out is I used to just have a really free arm swing, and I would just not run to the line, and because it's not running, but it's like just being free and just like letting it go because I'm too grabby currently before last night, and it worked pretty good, I thought. pretty decent. It's got some work to do,
Yeah, you
but
bowled pretty good. Ball
not
speed
bad.
was good.
didn't make all my spares. But
No, you didn't. And then I saw meltdown, Kyle. I thought you were gonna throw a
not
chair.
meltdown.
Wasn't
The
meltdown.
2-pin was a little upset, but I mean, 2-pins are hard, man. They're right there in the middle of the lane.
I mean, I wouldn't say you were meltdown, Kyle, but I saw the fumes starting the last game.
The fuse started popping out.
It started. I could see it, but
Listen,
he
when
held
you
it.
miss a spare, it's unacceptable. That's what I believe.
I think he threw a bad shot in the 10th too. Last game.
That was that second shot in
Yeah.
the 10th. That was the one that I wanted for 200. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So enough about me. Let's get into the first topic of the night. Now that we're long into the show, Anthony has been struggling all beginning of the season, except for his 9th place finish, with a pain in his hand. And now
Anita, that's a great thing. No. Probably shouldn't put that one up, but all right. No more cellular devices destroyed by Kyle.
No, we're good. We're good. Not unless it's by accident.
He bought an Apple Care though.
Yeah, Apple Care will save me.
So, yeah, I had pain in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is that was the pre? So well, let's last week or
let's
two.
back up. So like I started, I think it was like an overuse thing. I think I took too much tape out of my ball, started squeezing, had to bowl the regional. My wrist was killing me. Taped it up, gutted it out. Did all right. Hurt on spare shots a lot, so that was probably a part of my spare shooting casualties of missing a lot. But that's really no excuse. I should have made them. But anyways, it hurt a little bit. So, and then I ended up bowling like 2 days after, and then it really hurt. So I was kind of like, well, maybe I should make a change in my hand, because your hand does change. Kyle's like, well, how fast can your hand really change? And I was like, well, I don't know. Well, it just hurts. So I'm not going to continue to bowl if it still hurts. So talk to the boys, Nick, Kyle, and Matt. And Matt's been kind of like Matt Fazzone's kind of the kind of gives me some answers. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
like
maybe you should try this. What
yeah.
about that? Because we both threw balls. So Kyle's like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But we're still trying to get Kyle to understand forward and reverse, because he gets it backwards.
Yeah, well,
So-
I'm always going to get it backwards because it doesn't make any effing sense.
It doesn't make sense. But anyways, so we've been filling with that. So I originally was couldn't
Losing
even
your
tell
train
you.
of thought? Oh.
No, I couldn't
Oh,
even tell you
oh.
what my span was prior. I had to be like 1/4 inch to 5/16 short.
Hmm.
Like from
So I'm
fingertip.
about the same currently too. Like I have a short span too. I agree.
So, and I understand that, that's pretty good, because I never really wanted to reverse. You hit 30. I'm not 30 yet, Deke.
no,
I'm
but he
still
says you still
29.
need to go to 14.
Was I 4 and 5 ace? 4 and 5 ace? 4 and 5 ace? I was close. Might have been, actually. Maybe I might have been 4 and 5 ace. Fours. Anyways, so I was roughly around there, 4 3/4 full span. I had some problems, so I decided to drill some of my old crap and just like give it a shot. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's change it. LeClaire always told me to do a CLT because the way my thumb was. So I tried to do a few CLTs.
Centerline transposition,
Centerline transfer, whatever it is. So your finger goes here, your thumb goes here, and then your fingers actually get drawn on a different line because your thumb flexes a different way.
We talked about this on the.
We
on
have
the
talked
pod
about it before. So I ended up trying that, and I actually went to like a true fingertip of what I should be, which I went from like 4 3/4 full. Maybe it was. Matt might be right. It might have been 4 and 5 ace. He might remember. I don't, because I just drilled them because I was like, oh, this is where my cut to cut is. Bang, bang every time. So I was right around there. So I ended up going to 5 inches on my ring finger, which is like a 1/4 inch change. So we did that. We tried it in a CLT. I actually was forward on my fingers. So forward is underneath the ball. I had some lateral in my
So
thumb
dumb.
too, because I always had lateral. My dad always had lateral in my thumb. So I just drilled it. I never changed my pitches really.
Under or away? That's what I'll call it.
Well, so my
Or
thumb,
left or right.
my thumb was away from the grip, and then an eighth left, an eighth and an eighth. And then my fingers were an eighth forward. And then I always just did like 3 ace on the laterals for both fingers, because laterals or whatever. Usually laterals to me don't really make a difference unless you're trying to relieve cutting or something. So my finger does cut. So then on the new grip, I end up changing it. So anyways, we tried a CLT for like week.
Maybe a few days. Yeah.
A few days. But I felt like I was getting it. and then it didn't work.
Yeah, well, so you threw a few shots last night, and like it was interesting because you would throw a pure one.
I can show. See? Now
What?
they can see.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There we go here. So this
hard
is
to
the
see the
ball.
lines.
It is hard to see the lines. You gotta go this way. But my fingers are actually drawn on a different line there
Than the thumb.
than the thumb. You can see the fingers are kind of offset there. If you can see,
get a grease pen so you can draw them in there.
Yeah, that's too much work.
But
it is off. So this is the one I had been using, and I thought I was getting pretty good at it. And I was like, man, this actually kind of feels pretty good. A lot of my shots were good with this ball. And then I tried to put another ball, and it was just bad. It was just I shot 145 on Tuesday. Like, I couldn't figure out how to get out of the ball.
Yeah.
Then I changed. I put in a different ball. Then I went back to the red ball, and then I bowled good after. So the red ball was always good, but I just couldn't figure it out. And then I bowled last night.
Couldn't replicate.
I couldn't replicate it good enough. I don't know.
He's just not good.
I don't know. There's too much time and angles and stuff to like go off a different line. So,
but
anyways,
what you're referring to is there's the actual measuring on the ball to make sure that it's 100% accurate. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's too hard to replicate. That's
on
just
the
my
ball,
personal
on the
opinion.
ball.
Yeah, to like put it on the ball, like
replicate it on the ball.
Yeah,
100%.
you can do it. You know, if I put a center line and I put my fingers on the center line, I think you can't really mess it up because it's all on the center line. But when you've got to go and you've got a degree from the midline, and then you got to go a certain amount over from the center. Well, you can either do it from the center of grip, where you can kind of pin a line there so you can kind of connect the dots to the degree in that, or you can do it from the thumb. I usually just did it to the thumb because it can't be wrong if you did it from a thumb. Because if I measure 13 degrees from your center line and then you go back to your thumb and go like an inch over, then you pin them both and then you connect the dots on the pins, so you can't be off.
So making a triangle. It's like
making a triangle. And I just couldn't figure out how to get my hand in the right spot on it. And Kyle watched me last night and he's like, man, you look like me.
You're like 1 for 3.
Yeah,
it's
one
not good.
For maybe more than that. But like, to be honest, the ball reaction when they were good was really good.
Yeah.
You watched a few of them and you're like, man, that was really good off your hands. I tried to do it again and I would top it. And I tried to do it again and I couldn't hit it right way. So, anyways,
the
just
interesting part was like what we were talking about last night. It's like you'd get like a 70% or 80% shot.
The ball would do nothing.
And it would be a puke.
Yeah.
Whereas like today, you sent me a shot. And what did I say? I was like, that was poopy.
You literally wrote that was poopy. And I was like, yeah, but that was like a 65% shot.
And what did it do?
And I still struck.
Right.
So
that's what we were talking about. Is like, okay, we need to find the right grip, or we need to be in. You got to be in the right area, the right grip. We need to find the right ball or whatever. We need to be in the right position, not just the hand position, not just the ball. I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah. Where
you can throw a 60% shot and still strike.
Well, that's the game,
just
right?
Speaking generally, yes.
Especially when you're bowling in the hard stuff.
Right. Exactly.
And it's interesting because people are like, man, you throw it good enough with what you have. Why are you changing? One, I went back and threw my old stuff like after league on one night, and I immediately got just a tweak in my thumb. Like I felt like I was just kind of squeezing.
Yeah.
And then I put my hand in the ball. I'm like, man, it feels like I'm holding a pencil. How did I throw this before? So, we talk about that. And then I was talking to Matt again, too, quite often out of the group chat because I felt like I was annoying you guys, especially Nick, because he was like, keep sending videos. Because I was like, hey, how does this look off my hand? They all look the same. Okay.
No.
Then he watched me bowl and he was like, whoa, you can totally see difference. Anyways, so I ended up texting Matt a little bit. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, can you feel it on your fingers? And I was like, no. And that was like, it had to be like last Wednesday, actually. Because I didn't bowl last Thursday, but I threw like 5 or 6 shots Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because I had different test balls. I would throw like a game and stop. Like nothing hard, just like one step to get off my hand. And he was like, could you feel it on your fingers? I say no. So then I started bowling with it. Then I tried it in league. Then I started to feel it on my fingers. And then today, after we talked last night, I'm like, I feel like I'm just too restricted with the CLT. So Anthony, look at my phone. Oh, you texting me, Deke? It might be you. I don't know. I got a
Deke,
million
we're busy.
People. Anyways, I don't know.
Really, right now?
I looked at my phone. He's talking to my phone, talking to the people. Anyways, so So I ended up just trying to think, I don't want to be restricted. We talked about it last night, and I just felt like I had to be in the right spot with my hand, and I just don't feel like my hand worked with the CLT. So I went straight back. I went back to straight up and down, and I used the same cuts.
Right.
I just brought them back to the center line, and through it today. It felt pretty good. And then I was like, I can feel a little bit of pressure on my nails. So
Which you don't like.
which I don't like to have pressure. I'm a stroker. I'm a new school stroker, right? I don't really hit the ball. I just kind of roll it.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, okay. Thanks, D. So I don't try to do a lot to the ball. I really don't. So yesterday I hit 170% because I don't do a lot to it. I don't try to, and it didn't hook. So I went back to this, and today all worked out. But I gave myself a little bit more reverse pitch today. So I went from forward where my fingers were underneath or going towards the center of the grip. I was an eighth under previously. I lengthened and went a quarter farther on the span, so it's longer. And then I actually went to probably about 3/6, more than that, a quarter, 3/8 more reverse on my fingers. But there's a lot more pressure there now. So like I had to. So then I ended up putting a quarter away on those fingers. And that's when I sent you that video and you're like, man, that was really good. I was like, yeah, this feels really good in my hand.
Mhm.
So now I'm back to straight up and down. So where's my roll? My roll's always been low, Deke. You're not gonna believe it when I tell you. Some people like wonder, but it's pretty freaking low. I'm not a spinner, but it's low. And Kyle knows.
Yeah.
It's not even close to the thumb.
No, it's not.
It's not even
Yeah.
close. It's not close.
I was looking at the track last night and I'm like, I don't remember.
It
being
never
that low.
changes. It never
Yeah.
changes. It doesn't matter what grip you put in my hand. Doesn't matter what you do. My track is always on the label, basically, for the lefties. It's like on the label. But I mean, I think I'm like 4 3/16 over with the new span. We'll see what it is. I'll check it tonight. But normally I'm like 4 1/4 over and about a half inch up on my axis point. So, and that is on every ball. I just redid it with a new grip. It's like the same thing. I did it with the CLT. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So my hand just does what my hand does, and I'm not spinning it because you can watch a slow-mo
no.
video of me, and I
No,
don't spin it.
Yeah,
So,
no.
but yeah, so we did a lot of stuff different. It feels awesome in my hand.
But the whole precursor of this was the hand pain.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know where
Which came out of
from.
nowhere.
I know. I never had hand pain before, ever. Like I could bowl 20 games in a day, and obviously the normal wear and tear on the side of your thumb.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. I just don't know where it came from. It must have been from squeezing and just trying to overuse it. And then I just kind of use it as a good excuse to maybe try to do something a little bit better. But the other reason I changed, I think I texted you last night super late. And I was like, I know people keep telling me to use the same grip because I have success. I'm doing pretty well. But like after throwing the CLT a little bit, I feel like there's just a little bit more I can get out of the ball without having to
What
do.
you mean is when you threw the CLT, you found out, like, even though it's the 1 out of 5 shots, that
one
one
out of
shot
5.
was so pure.
And it's so good.
You need to find where you can
where I
throw
can
that.
kind of get something
Yeah.
close or
Yeah.
something close. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to take a look at that now. But I'm not really going to change it anymore. I don't think I'm going to throw this tonight, and then I'll probably bowl a little bit tomorrow. Maybe I'll throw a few on Sunday, and then I got league on Monday, and then me and Fazone are hitting a tournament next week. Baker's double.
Blah, blah, blah.
So I have to make sure that I have like 8 balls ready. So I have to kind of decide on Monday so I can get to work, plug some balls. I have 4 balls sitting over here to my right that need to be drilled for myself because I've been waiting because I had the hand pain. So I didn't want to plug those balls. So we'll see what happens. But it is a little bit of a different grip now. So we're going from forward pitch on the fingers where it's going towards the center to away. We went longer, and I took the lateral out of my thumb. So a little bit more modern fit. So if you do have hand pain or you're ripping, when you're bowling, you shouldn't have giant rips on your hand. There should be some calluses here and there. But if you have like major hand pain, it hurts when you hold the ball or throw it, or the next day, go and see your pro shop operator and refit yourself. Tell them to get refit. That way you can get something that's a little bit better. We've been learning over time, but Kyle is scared, and that's why him and Nick haven't set up. I think it's the other way around. I think Nick is scared after his performances. But go make sure you go get fit. Like we say, always see your pro shop guy, because if you got pain like that, you shouldn't. You should be able to bowl pain-free relatively,
Yes.
unless you got 100 games in there. So, make sure you go check that out. And fit yourself up properly. The modern fit's a lot different than the old fit was back in the day.
Yeah, remember when I asked you about the modern fit after I had a conversation with Craig Taylor the other night, and you're like, "No, don't do it," and then you're like, "I just did it."
What did I do?
You just said you just did like a more of a modern fit with.
Well, yeah, I do think.
But it's not for everyone.
Yeah, like if you're, you don't have to go crazy, but like I think what you were talking about with Craig last week, I understand where he's coming from, where your hand kind of sits.
It's your natural position.
Your
Your
natural
thumb is
position is more
forward,
like
and
this.
your thumb and fingers are forward.
So, okay, your thumb is more forward. Your fingers will be reversed.
Well, yeah. I'm
They're
saying is not in the. I'm not talking about your finger pitches.
they're more like talking.
I'm not talking about the
Yeah,
pitches in
okay,
your ball. I'm just saying like forward, like.
Yeah. So I kind of agree. And what all the stuff that I've been reading about is they want less pitch in your thumb now, and they want more pitch in the fingers. So,
right.
Yeah, Deke, you got, buddy. Listen, I've been absolutely firing it up there lately. That is freaking a lefty house, and it's on a 4-1, and there's only like 3 loads on the gutter. So if we're throwing it as good as we're throwing it, it might be a runaway. If I can figure it out by then.
We're going to move on because it is time to move on. And it is time for you guys to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel.
Pizza
Listen,
wings.
the last I checked, we have 2 more subscribers to get to 2,000. So if you have not subscribed yet on YouTube, it is time to subscribe on the YouTubes. And plus, we should have way more than that anyway because we are spectacular. That's right. I said it myself. So do that. And then check out the Etsy shop. Give us some love there and get yourself a shirt. Get the Thane Bang shirt.
Get the new
or a hat.
Breaker Game shirt we're going to have.
Breaker Game. Break your game. So yeah, check that out. And don't forget, you can always email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. Now, let's talk about the LBC National Championships.
The League Bowler Championships, sponsored by Bolero /PBA / whatever they own. That's what it is.
Yes, that is what it is. The League Bowler Championships, LBC.
Now, this was the event that took place in Wauwatosa, Michigan?
Wisconsin.
Close enough. Purple isn't around. I won't throw purple, Deke. Don't worry. But yeah, so it was over there, and I believe the qualifying was in June to July, correct?
Yeah, something around there. Yep.
It was around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a national event.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But
it was technically, yes, a national event. You mean kind of like USBCs.
Kind of like, yes. But what did they have, Kyle?
They had a few different qualifications, like handicap division. I believe they had a women's division, maybe not. I can't remember exactly.
I think they had a women's, they had a handicap, they had a scratch.
Yeah.
I think they had a senior division because Lenny Borsch was in it.
Yep.
And then I'm trying to think, they had a pro division as well.
No, just open, I believe. Not just separate, just open.
They didn't have a pro.
I thought
they had a pro. I thought I read a pro, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, they had a scratch division. And the interesting thing about this was it was what? I think it was 6 game blocks. Right? I think it was 6 games, and you got your single score was in there, and your double score and your team score was all kind of in there together. It was interesting. By the way, Ryan Schaefer won that event with John Fury, Joe Pelusic, and somebody else.
The team event?
They won the team portion of it, yes. And they actually posted their pattern. It was a little different format than the national USBCs, which we should have hit this event. It would have been historic. But it was interesting because they took the top player from each division, and then they went to a TV show for $100,000, right? They put up $100,000.
Well, that was the total, but the $60,000 to win.
Yeah, it was $100,000 total prize fund, $60,000 for first. I mean, that is life-changing money for the first year, 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, life-changing if you're not on tour or whatever.
I'm just saying, if you win $60K, that's a year's worth of pay for some people. So that's a nice year to have.
Yeah. However, I think for a bowling tournament, I think this was a little weird.
Lackluster.
Let me start off by saying, way cool that all of those people got to bowl amongst all of the pros and stuff, right?
Have so the opportunity.
Yeah, to be on TV also, way cool. So we'll start off with the positive side. All of the unknowns getting to bowl on national television on FS1 with Tom Doherty,
McEwen,
Verity, Lenny Borsch, who am I drawing a blank on? AJ Johnson.
Yep.
Oh my God, Liz Johnson. I think I'm forgetting somebody, but yeah,
It's good enough. You get the
very
gist.
good. Yeah, it was, and again, national television, way cool,
Do
right?
you want the divisions that were there?
I
They had men's and women's handicap, open classic, women's classic, senior classic, and PBA exempt.
also they did have their own.
So
Yeah.
next year they're adding junior boys, junior girls.
Okay,
which is pretty cool.
so Open Classic is like scratch, right?
I'm assuming the PBA guys had to be in that one too, right?
I would think.
Wouldn't they be in PBA exempt and scratch?
So anyway, but so they're on the show here. But the weird thing is this like they're in the separate clash to win 60 grand, right?
But
But they only it's a one shot roll off
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense because
and low man out each round, by the way.
I think that makes. So we were thinking about it. We talked about like how stupid is that? But like I thought about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's not a bad format given the situation that you're in because there's a few different things I might agree and disagree on, but I agree on for the one ball because if you want to take handicap out of it, in a sense, because there's no way they gave him like +1 pin a shot, right? So.
Oh, right. It's like handicap.
Yeah, so
like
they
having
took the handicap
bowler against the scratch
Right.
bowlers, right?
So, which I don't think it would be necessarily a bad thing, but I think it made it a little bit easier because how often, even if you're what's that girl's name? Brenda was her name? Brenda.
No, Belinda Maple.
Belinda. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what her average was, but even if she has her handicap, is it gonna at some point handicap isn't beneficial if you're too low of an average. I don't know what her average was. I don't remember. But I'm just saying if somebody made it with a 150 average and it was 90% of 240, let's just say, because that's what I can remember. As you have a lower average, it's not beneficial. So when you go bowl against the pros, you're actually like giving them extra pins. So the
Right.
one shot roll off makes kind of sense, but at the same time, a player who's like a 150 is never going to strike as much as a pro. I mean, you could get lucky.
Not never, but she got three
I'm not saying that it's
strikes, that
impactful,
is, and then
but
3 pins.
you still have to beat 12 other guys to get there,
Right.
you know, or whatever it is, 10 other people. So I think it might be tough to win that in that sort of a division, like the handicap players, but it's not a bad format because it still gives you a chance. If the pro throws a bad shot in fives, you knock the pro out. And
Yeah.
now
Which she
it's a
knocked a
ball
couple
game.
people out.
The way the prize fund is, it makes sense the way they did the finals. Because the first was 60, second was 10, the rest were
1,000.
So from
first
third
one's
to
60.
12th was 3,000.
So that's just, I get it that 60K is for, but like these people, did they fly those people back out
I
to the
hope so.
place? Did
I
they?
hope so,
Like,
man.
did they? So like you just won 3,000.
Yeah.
You just came, whatever. You're on
Paid for
national
your trip.
television. Yeah, you paid for your trip.
Yeah, I hope so.
Congratulations. Oh, but is that bonus money though?
It just says final standings.
Because if that's bonus money, then that's okay. Like if they won, let's say 1,000 or 2,000 to go out there and compete and win their division, and then they got a bonus check of 3,000 at the finals, that's a total of 5,000. That's actually not too bad because the flights
Right.
are probably about 1,000. Your hotel's probably about 1,000. Well, it's probably not that much. It's probably about 500 or 600. Then food can't be that much because you didn't really stay out there that long. It's not a super long tournament, I don't think, in terms of you don't have to stay out there for 2 or 3 days like at nationals. You know, where you have
Right.
to be out there. So
Except for, like when the qualifying or doing all that.
yeah, but the qualifying,
Yeah,
there's
that's
like
just-
7 squads a day. You can do everything in 1 day and leave.
Right.
You know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, if you're like, I know Chris Barnes bowls the nationals in 1 day. Did you guys know that?
No.
Chris-
There is extra money.
Yeah,
That's just
that's the bonus.
final 12, that was bonus money.
That's bonus money. Yeah, Chris Barnes has, I know for a fact because he said it, has bowled the USBCs back-to-back
Teams
shifts,
And doubles and singles all in one day.
back-to-back shifts.
Wow.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. Like if you're
I do everything in 1 day.
if you're going to get out there and you're like, hey, let's get after it, let's do our 9 games and fly back. It'll be like we could probably fly back in 1 day, Like if you could get like
well, you get there the night
that's-
before and then you bowl the next
night
day.
That's
before,
nice.
if you can get there at 11 a.m. and you can get like the 1 squad
You kidding me?
or the
I'll
2
fly
squad,
in-
and then you take the 7 or 10 squad at night, you can take a
fly
red
in.
eye home.
I'll fly in at 7 in the morning, bowl at 9, leave by 11
That is
p.m.
something you
Listen,
would totally
there's no
do.
flight from our town that will get there by 7 a.m.
You're
Not
just
with
gonna have
that
to
10
leave.
a.m. Not with that.
Not with
attitude.
that attitude.
All right.
I'm just saying
Um,
it'd be interesting, but it is nice because
Yeah.
that event's a little shorter in a sense where you could do it all in one day. So if you could make a 1 day, like we legitimately could have stopped if we could have gotten a flight there.
Yeah.
And we left in the morning and everybody bowled, and then we could take like a red eye into Vegas because it's gonna be plane change or a time change anyways. We could have actually probably hit that event, done everything.
Yeah.
Because we could have just put everybody together, boom, 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 and left and go to Vegas and
Yeah,
really
'cause the
not
way-
miss the day.
Like we were saying, the way they do it, you don't have to bowl as a team.
Yeah,
You
you
just
can bowl
bowl,
whenever. Well,
and
that's
then
what happened.
you pick your team.
So that's what happened to Fury.
Right.
Fury, Schaefer, and
Ford
Pluzik.
or Fury.
John Fury.
Yeah.
He shot like 830 or something stupid.
Really.
But I think Schaefer was the last one to bowl, and I guess his other teammates already played, and he was like, well, and I saw on Facebook, he's like, it's all up to me because
Yeah, because
like,
you have to pick your team.
before you bowl.
Right.
And
Or they have you can pick
Yeah.
as long as they haven't bowled yet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Schaefer was like, "Yeah, I gotta go out. Hopefully, I don't let him down." But how much pressure
That would be way more pressure. Yeah.
like because Fury killed it, and the other guys bowled good. You're like, "Hey, you need 650, and we're in first." And it's like,
That's tough. Yeah.
I need 650, and your knees are shit. You're on a
Yeah.
5-1. He's good,
Right,
anyways. I'm
right.
sure he's been in that situation many times. But just think about how different that could be.
Mhm.
It's crazy to think about. But I did like the format. I do like the way they do it.
It's interesting. It's different.
I think it's different. I think there could probably be tweaks down the road, but it's
I mean,
not a bad gig.
They only got a little over 1,000 bowlers, for the whole tournament.
Thousands not bad.
And then let's just talk about real quick about Belinda, who like stole the show from everyone because she her attitude was just unreal.
Yeah. Just go out and bowl.
Yeah,
right?
her interview was wild. She's just like
She didn't know what to say. She said.
no, yeah,
She was just like, get out there and bowl, everybody.
yeah.
I mean,
She just had a super good attitude, and she struck 3 times, and then got 3. That was awesome. But no,
Well,
she was awesome.
good for her. That's awesome. And she
Yeah.
is right. I mean, she said, just go find people that you like and go out there, have a good time, and bowl and enjoy it. I mean, that's how it should be. I think we've talked about league and the scores and stuff. By the way, I saw J.R. Raymond video, which we can get into after, possibly if we have time. But we have to answer a question, right?
Yep,
So,
we got a question to answer.
anyways, that's all it's about. Seeing your buddies bowling, trying to throw a few X's. It's not the end of the world. You can, if you shoot average 215 to 230, that's like 1 strike, right? So don't get too worried about the 1 strike you don't get. Like that's the way I'm at now. I shot 140 on Tuesday. I didn't really give a crap. I was like, I was a little frustrated because I wasn't clearing the ball right and I was working on something. But other than that, it's not that big of a deal. You're gonna wake up and go to work tomorrow, and you're gonna see your friends and have a few brews the next week, anyways.
The only thing I see about that tournament is that you're gonna be bowling against huge numbers. That's the only thing I can see about that.
I mean, they're. I like how they're. You got to remember. I think it could be like the Mega Buck. If you think about the Mega Buck here, which we will be bowling.
Yes.
We signed up, in the Northeast, but ooh, that's not fun, Deke. But we go out there to the Mega Buck, and they started with a 7-1 last year, attracted all sorts of people. How much of a cool tournament it could be, and this year bumped down to 4-1. So you're going to be taking a little bit of area away. It's going to favor the better players, but you got to start somewhere. So, hey, if you put out a 5 or a 6-1 from the PBA, hey, start somewhere. And as it grows, you can then jump into the harder patterns. And the other thing, too, is once you jump to the harder patterns, they release the pattern. So the other players, you can learn a little bit from it.
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest gripe is that we can't really help our guys because we don't know what's out there. Well, we can help, but only to a certain point. By the time we're bowling.
No, we are bowling. We're not talking.
Can't walk around.
We're talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
Our team, I mean.
Right.
One last note about the LBC that I wanted to touch on real quick. The new guy in the booth, which I'm the only one that probably cares about this or pays attention to this stuff. John Fanta or Fanta, I don't know how to say his name. I just looked him up real quick. He He is already a commentator with FS1. He does basketball. I think he does college basketball more or less. But I thought he was super cool, man. He had a lot of energy on the show. And
Was it unneeded energy?
unneeded? No, not like
Yeah.
no. He just was bringing the normal.
What announcers used to do back in the day.
Yeah, he was just like just think of the normal basketball guy or the normal sportscaster, but not Dave Ryan. Dave Ryan's. I don't mind
Kyle,
Dave Ryan, but
Kyle.
what?
Who the frig is Dave?
Dave
Ryan?
Ryan's the other bowling guy, the other guy that with the brown hair, like he's the when
Don't worry, Anthony, I don't know him by name.
oh
either.
my god,
I don't know
you
by
guys are
name.
freaking terrible.
Why
When
do we don't know by name?
when
What's
what's his face is not there, who am I thinking of?
Steve Black? What's his,
No,
Joe?
the guy that everyone the Hambone guy.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to think.
What's Hambone
His
guy's
name
name?
was Steve.
Oh my
Rick?
god, you're
You
such a
can't
jerk.
remember.
Shut
You
up.
can't remember.
When he's not there, Dave Ryan fills in. All right,
Dave was pretty good. I do remember Dave.
But-
I don't
but
know
Rob
Dave's
Stone.
name. But
Rob Stone. So when Rob Stone's not there, Dave Ryan fills in. So apparently neither of them could make it, and this guy was filling in. But this guy had the perfect energy. All right,
I
so
was happy.
I don't know. He just seemed like he was excited to be there.
He just
And
copied what Randy said.
and
Chad
was
Bell
good.
said.
what's that?
Just copied what Randy said. That's disappointing.
I'm sorry, Zach, but he had better energy than Randy, and Randy can shove it, in my opinion.
I love you, Randy.
Randy, if you want to come on the show and disagree with Kyle on that,
It'd be fun. It'd be fun to. I would just sit here and shut up. It's hard for me to do. Rob Stone.
All right. So let's get to that listener question. Listener Mike has a question for us this week, specifically for Anthony, quote unquote, the pro shop guru.
That's not true.
I know. I recently got the Hammer Extreme Envy
Good ball.
for Sport Shot and have used it a couple of times now and really like it. Service from factory is 500, 2000. To put some surface on cover before a match to get closer to factory. That was a sentence. I don't know what that means.
Put surface on it before he bowls.
I think this is the question. To put some surface on cover before match to get closer to factory, do I put on 1,000 or 1,500? On a spinner, I would do 500, then 2,000. Any thoughts?
So you're looking for out of box? Austin knows about this. We've talked about this. We went to the seminar before. We learned about the RA values.
it's actually crazy how fast the cover stock changes.
So, anyways, RA value. So that's what we use for surface typically. RA value, I think it is. When you use 500, you create deeper
Valleys,
peaks and valleys in the ball. So the ball can have more. It can handle more volume typically because there's more space for it to go. So when you use 500, 2000, you actually kind of end up with like 800 because
it's kind of like in the middle.
Because there are still some deeper valleys. So you kind of put like a finer coating on top, but you don't really take out all the deep valleys. So it's probably closer to 800. That would be what I would say. And to be honest with you, if you want to make it just like out of box, I'd probably just do 500 by hand and still put 2,000 over the top of it, a nice light 2,000 over the top of it at the end. You know, nothing too crazy with pressure, but use 500, get all the way around the ball, and then go back to 2,000. Just kind of lightly go over the top. That should get you right to where you need to be. Same kind of thing as a ball spinner. If you wet sand as you use that ball spinner, you're going to create a little more of a sheen. And what that's going to do is that's going to keep the ball from shining up as fast. Because if you do it by hand, it's going to be a lot fresher. I call it fuzzy. It looks fuzzy, like it's super dull. When you do it by hand, the ball's going to transition more because it has more room to shine up. But if you wet sand it off the spinner, it'll last a little longer because the cover won't transition as fast because it's already a little glossy. Most of the pros like to have a little bit of like that lane shine, wet shine on it, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, because the ball doesn't transition as much, so they can stay in that ball longer even when the lanes burn up a little, they can stay there longer without having to move left or change balls. So probably just put 500, 2,000 on it if you're at a tournament with your hand. I wouldn't do it unless you're on a sport shot though, because 90% of the time you don't need a ton of surface. If you're just bowling house shot and you want to freshen up, I'd probably just put a nice light 1,000 on it. But going to a sport shot, 500, 2,000 every time. That's what I would
every
say.
time.
Because you want that ball to pick up good, because it is going to shine up quick, especially on those sport shots.
Mhm.
Did I answer the question?
I think you did.
Okay.
I think you done
As
did
long
it.
as you think I answered the question well, that's what we're going to go with.
All right, good. Very good. Well, in that case, it is time for us to go bowling.
And it's time. I'm back, baby. And listen, this week I'm shooting 1,000,000. Fazone, you better be ready, baby, because I'm feeling good tonight. I'll text you if I shoot like 750. I'm in trouble, but I'm feeling good walking into here. Let's see what happens.
All right, guys, it is time for us to go bowling. Like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel.
Bell's right here.
2 more likes or subscriptions on the YouTubes gets us to 2,000. So please, if you haven't already, do that. Don't forget, you can email us at downlanepod@gmail.com, and you can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and the X, as they call it, formerly known as Twitter. If you can't watch the show on YouTube, you can always download and listen on your favorite podcast outlet, such as Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or whatever else. And while you're doing that, please, you can give us a 5-star review. Check out the Etsy shop, and you can get a shirt, sweatshirt, hat, whatever. And thank you to Austin Van Buren, the producer. Awesome show tonight. Well done. Nice job, Antoine. Good job tonight. All right. Thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan, for letting us do this every week.
Thanks, Jambred.
And
You didn't let me say it.
sorry.
You skipped like right over me. and
I
just
know.
kept-
I had a sentence to say. Sorry. And thank you to Jack Scaccia, the proprietor of Town and Country Lanes.
The poop-
We will see you guys next week. This is Downlane Podcast.